Every morning, as the first light crept into Sarah's room, she would rise with a quiet purpose. It was early, still dark outside, and her small apartment was filled with a soft silence, untouched by the bustle of the day. She'd wrap herself in a warm blanket, make a cup of tea, and settle by her window, where the sun would soon paint the sky with hues of pink and gold. This was her sacred time, her morning devotional and prayer, a routine she held dear, one that transformed her outlook and gave her strength in life's challenges. Sarah's mornings hadn't always been this peaceful. Only a year ago, her routine consisted of rushed coffees, frantic scrambles to prepare for work, and an overwhelming feeling of fatigue and stress. She worked a demanding job that drained her energy and left her feeling disconnected from herself and from God. A friend noticed her struggle and suggested a small change, to set aside just 15 minutes each morning for a devotional and prayer. At first, Sarah doubted it would make a difference, but desperate for peace, she gave it a try. Her devotional time started as simply as reading a short verse or a passage from her Bible. She would sit with the words, letting them sink in, sometimes whispering them aloud, sometimes journaling her reflections. The first verse she read that day was from Psalm 46:10. "Be still and know that I am God." These words struck her like a gentle embrace, reminding her to pause, to trust, and to allow herself to be still. Her mind, often cluttered with anxieties, found a surprising calm. Over time, Sarah began to incorporate different devotions each morning, focusing on themes that resonated with her life. She would read about patience on days she felt rushed, forgiveness on days her heart felt heavy with resentment, and gratitude on days when she felt overwhelmed. Slowly, she noticed that the peace she experienced in these morning moments began to spill over into the rest of her day. The act of sitting with Scripture and reflecting on its relevance in her life brought her clarity and a sense of groundedness she had never known before. After her devotional, she would bow her head and begin her morning prayer. At first, her prayers were simple. She prayed for a peaceful day, for the strength to handle her work, and for guidance in her relationships. As she grew more comfortable, her prayers became a time of honest conversation with God. She would pour out her worries, asking for wisdom when she felt lost, and for comfort when she felt alone. She didn't hold back, knowing that she could be vulnerable and open with the one who understood her completely. One morning, after months of this routine, Sarah experienced something extraordinary. She was going through a difficult time at work, facing a challenging project that left her feeling incompetent and fearful of failure. That morning, her devotional reading spoke directly to her heart. It was from Joshua 1:9. "Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go." The words seemed to be exactly what she needed. She held on to that verse, repeating it to herself as she prepared for her day. During her prayer, she asked for courage and wisdom, and something shifted in her. She no longer felt as though she faced the day alone. She knew she could trust in God's presence with her, strengthening her and walking beside her. That day at work, she faced her project with newfound confidence, her heart lifted by the memory of her morning time with God. As the weeks turned into months, Sarah found that her morning devotional and prayer time had transformed not only her mornings, but her entire life. She became more patient, more resilient, and more compassionate. She started noticing beauty in the ordinary, feeling gratitude for things she had once overlooked. Even in difficult moments, she found herself pausing, taking a deep breath, and remembering that God was with her. Sarah's morning devotional had become more than just a ritual. It was a foundation upon which she built each day. Through it, she cultivated a faith that carried her through the storms and celebrated with her in the joyful moments. The quiet mornings by her window became her sanctuary, a place where she could renew her spirit and find guidance for the road ahead. Now, Sarah encourages others to start their own morning devotional and prayer time. She tells them how a simple act of setting aside a few moments can change everything. She often shares her favorite verses and devotions, hoping to inspire others to find peace and strength in the stillness of the morning. And each day, as the first light of dawn fills her room, Sarah sits by her window, opens her Bible, and begins her morning prayer, grateful for the journey that has brought her closer to God.